Welcome to the My Raggedy Herbs podcast. This podcast is for truth seekers, homesteaders, homemakers, and medicine makers who are eager to roll up their sleeves and learn how to make their relationship with God, their family, and their home their first priority. Now here's Lori Coates.
I grew up in a rural setting where my parents always had a big vegetable garden, and our neighbors had an orchard, so it's surprising to me the number of people that are unaware of where their food comes from. According to the American Farm Bureau, the average American is now at least 3 generations removed from the farm. In fact, farm and ranch families make up less than 2% of the U.S. population. It's easy to roll that statistic off your tongue, and it doesn't seem like that big a deal. When you stop and think about the fact that the average American is at least 3 generations removed from the farm, you have to ask yourself what the impact of being removed from a farm is. One of the biggest impacts is that people don't know where their food comes from, how it is grown or produced, how much work is involved, and what it takes to get to the point of sale. If you want a good laugh, you can go to YouTube and watch some high school students who are being questioned about these issues. Their answers are hilarious and at the same time eye-opening and sad. In agrarian societies where at least 50% of the population is directly engaged in agricultural production, people tend to be more connected to the physical elements than those who live in an industrial society. Paying attention to things like the weather, soil, growing conditions, seed viability, plant varieties, germination rates, water, and labor is a way of life. It is simple and satisfying, but not easy. The United States is an industrialized nation, and because most of the population is removed from understanding farm life or the agrarian lifestyle, a popular trend known as homesteading has recently swept the nation. Homesteading is more than just purchasing a piece of land, milking a few cows or goats, growing some food, putting up a solar panel, and living off the grid. It's a mindset. It's a do-it-yourself attitude that begins when you realize that you are far removed from the farm and that you could produce something for yourself that you would normally not produce. It's thinking that a consumer-driven society is not a sustainable model, especially during a time of crisis or emergency. It's wanting to get your hands dirty. Many people look at these modern-day homesteaders and call them extremists or say that they're living on the fringe. My grandma would say that they're just getting back to the basics. Whether you agree with the homesteading lifestyle or not, one thing is for certain. During the COVID-19 pandemic, they've been much less dependent on others than many. If you have found yourself desiring to be more independent and wishing that you knew how to grow your own food or do a few old-fashioned things, then let me encourage you to start learning today. Psalms 14:23 tells us, "In all labor there is profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty." You can sit at the coffee shop all day and talk about how you would like to learn how to grow tomatoes, or you can go to the nursery, purchase a tomato plant, and figure it out as you grow it. Whether your labor is strenuous or light, according to God's Word, it's best to keep working because in all labor, big or small, there is profit. Colossians 3:23 and 24 tells us, "Whatever you do, do your work heartily, as for the Lord rather than for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the reward of the inheritance. It is the Lord Christ whom you serve." Finally, Philippians 2:14 and 15 instructs us, "Do all things without grumbling or disputing, so that you will prove yourselves to be blameless and innocent, children of God, above reproach, in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you appear as lights in the world." Use this time of either being quarantined at work or at home and work to learn something new. Work to please the Lord and serve others. Work is a gift, and being able to work hard is a blessing.
The gardening information presented in this podcast is based on USDA Plant Hardiness Zone 7 for Central Oklahoma. Nothing in this podcast or on our website should be construed as medical advice. Consult your healthcare provider for your individual nutritional and medical needs. The information presented is based on our own research and is strictly that of the author and not necessarily those of any professional group or entity. For more information, please visit myraggedyherbs.com.